Welcome to Pagan Coffee Talk. If you enjoy our content, please consider donating and following our socials. Now, here are your hosts, Lady Alba and Lord Knight.
All right. The Holy Spatula. Oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite.
Can we tell the story?
All right, I'm going to tell the story. Okay. So, when I was a neophyte, I don't even think I was a first yet.
Actually, I think you were a neophyte.
Yeah. We were having a discussion, right, in one of my classes about magical tools and about, sacred objects and all of these things. And we were also talking about how many items, things that are used by pagans become misconstrued as a magical or a sacred object. And the example that you gave in class was the Holy Grocery List.
Yes.
And literally this was that you might run across a elder's book, literally a book of magic, a book of paganism, whatever it might be, a book on craft, and inside it you might find a list.
Right.
And people will become obsessed. I found this. Right. I found this. This is, look at this.
This is from one of our elders.
This is from one of our elders. This must be very, very important. What is this? That's a grocery list. That's it. He used it as a bookmark.
Yeah.
And, but initially, right, everybody thinks it must be a recipe or a spell or something. And so I love eBay. Okay. I love eBay. I shop for a lot of things on eBay. And I sent you a link and I went, look what I found. And it became dubbed henceforth the Holy Spatula because someone was literally selling what they were calling a magical item, a tool of witchcraft from an elder. I mean, they had this person's name. They had
this was a big old story.
Oh yeah, it was intense. It was a literal cooking spatula. It was an old metal spatula with a wooden handle.
That was it.
There was nothing special about it. There was nothing. It was just someone's spatula. And on one hand, I mean, we were appalled that someone is trying to sell and make money off of this item just because an elder third degree, right, or witch queen or whatever touched it, used it. What made this magical?
This is the same thing as priests blessing their golf clubs.
Yeah.
For a better shot.
Maybe this was just her favorite spatula. It made no sense. And we have seen this time and time again now. Charms.
Right.
The belief that just because one of us held it, used it, owned it, possessed it, it must be special. Okay. So, A, is there any truth to that? B, is this just a bunch of greedy people trying to make money? Or take advantage of people?
Well, as far as charms go, I can see where if someone has worn the same necklace or ring their whole entire lives, this becomes a special item, but this is more of a special item that represents the person, not
a spiritual application. Yeah.
I mean, this is not like a magical item from a game where in the world you're going to get stat boost for buying a
Yeah. I mean, let's back up a second here and let's talk about what really happens to our true magical items.
Yeah, what really? Because I'm sorry, I don't think you'll ever find those items on eBay.
You might be surprised, but here's the reality. Most of us have, right? Athame, whatever you want to call it, ceremonial knife. We have our cords. Some of us have our own chalice. We have our own paten, which is our offering bowl dish. We may have other altar tools, statues, representations, candles. Some of us have pentagrams that we carry as a disc or an object for use in circle, right? We have a thurible or an incense holder of some sort. So, okay, most of these are destroyed.
Yes.
They are either destroyed and burned, they are buried with us, or,
in case of books and stuff like that, are kept in archives.
They become property of
the temple
at large. And so many of our quote unquote charms are actual, books especially. Books never leave. Books become a part of the archive and or are distributed amongst trusted members of the group. But other things, wands, for instance, staves, stains, I mean, very little of that is kept. Now, there may be an exception made whereby it might be gifted to a practitioner who was close to that person and someone who knew them well, but most of it is,
Because some of these items that we're talking about, a solitary is not going to have. I don't see many solitaries going around using swords.
No.
They might, but
if a solitary has a sword, in all likelihood, it's just because they like the sword. It's not because they were using it ceremonially.
Right.
But I don't think we're talking about solitaries here. We're talking about people who have a certain amount of notoriety inside of craft. Or at least a lineage, a heritage inside of craft. And that's why their belongings become coveted. But therein lies the problem. That word, coveted.
Yeah, I don't...
Why would you want someone else's spiritual... Yeah. This is rough. Like, there are...
Well, I mean, some of this stuff I have a problem with. I cannot see anybody sitting there. I can't see me going around going, oh, yeah, that was Lord Men's robe. Here, let me wear it.
Yeah. I could see. So, okay. So there's so many aspects to this, right? So, okay, ritual clothing. Ritual clothing to me is interesting because, yes, on one hand, you go, ooh, I don't know if any of us would want to wear it. On the other hand, I can also see us being very practical and saying, well, maybe we have someone who is a similar size and build and they can't afford or don't have their own robe, so we will gift it to them after a good cleansing. Yeah, but that's the point. We're cleansing it first. You're getting a brand new robe, whether you know it or not. Certain things we are going to be practical about.
Right.
But other things, I mean... Okay, here's a case in point. Whenever one of us dies, there is inevitably a bunch of boxes and jars.
Yes.
If said boxes and jars are sealed, usually with wax, and made difficult to get into, and I have had this happen and had this conversation with many, many other members of craft. What is it? Should we open it? Nope. It's getting destroyed. Why? We don't know what's in it. We don't want to know. We don't need to know. That's the whole point. If painstaking measures were made to seal it, leave it alone.
For crying out loud, I remember moving and you having to label boxes. Items may be enchanted.
Yes.
Handle with caution.
Yeah. Handle with care. Items may be enchanted. Yeah. I mean, that is, Books of shadows. People's personal books either become the property of the church itself, and usually the residing priest and priestess take what is necessary from it.
Right.
And the rest is, again, destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's kept, in archive for posterity, but that's it. Nobody's being handed that book. And in many cases, good luck reading it. They don't even make sense. They're gobbledygook, except for the person who wrote it.
Right, because I mean, I'm sure you look through mine, you got half a recipe on one, and then a half a recipe on another page for chicken salad.
I know one person who does her book completely in cipher. Good luck.
Have fun with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we're not gonna. This is not the Zodiac killer here. We're not gonna sit here and try to decode.
No.
And spend. I mean, come on.
I know many of traditionalists who still write their books in Theban.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But at the end of the day, one of the things we acknowledge is that, again, the Holy Grail is not in those pages.
Mm-mm.
We could spend 25 minutes an hour decoding a page in Theban just to go, oh, it's the witch's reed.
Exactly.
It's the charge of the goddess. It's common knowledge. Now, crystals, potions, herbs, incenses, brews, things that person may have made or used regularly. Yeah, they get gifted.
Yeah.
They get gifted to other people that, again, those that they knew. Usually, I remember when Lord Merlin passed away from the Ravenwood tradition, they did something really cool. I give them a lot of credit, the way Ravenwood handled this. So there was a large, massive event when he passed away. And they set up a space on the property because his requiem was a weekend event. Right. It was a big to do. Lots of people came from all over. So they set up a space where they basically said, if you walk up the hill and you go into the main building, there is a room where we have a bunch of Lord Merlin's possessions, items that were in whatever way connected to his practice. These, you are welcome to take what you like. Feel free. And it was very nice. It was beautiful. It was a little awkward in the sense that some of us who didn't know him personally,
right,
there was hesitation, obviously. So many, like I remember. And it was funny because Lord Merlin was gay. I remember looking at a lot of these items and things and going, these aren't mine to take, right? Mm-hmm. There's something, I didn't have that needed connection to him in life. But I do remember there was a sort of a sash or like a ribbon. It was the rainbow flag. And I went, that one. Because it was just a ribbon. There was nothing tremendously special about it. He may have at some point maybe worn it around his neck during a ritual of some sort, maybe for a pride-based event, maybe for something in June. I don't know. But that I was like, yes, this is something I would like to have to remember him by. And I took it, and that's it. And it sits now with my magical fair. You know, and it's got I just took a little Sharpie and wrote Merlin.
But and I'm going to say this, I'm going to try not to be nice, but at no point did anyone ever go onto eBay and post this going, hey, Lord Merlin passed away here. Yeah, would you like his loofah?
No, it was freely given away. Anyone could take whatever they like. Now, I mean, again, these were very selected items. Why? Because someone like Lord Merlin, who was holy moly, he was a third degree for 40 some odd years, I think. Yeah. He had a massive amount of things collected, and he had a wardrobe. His tradition is a little showy, right? And they like a little bit of flair for drama inside of their rituals. He had a lot of different types of robes and garments, and that was the main thing that was being offered up, because he might have worn some of them once.
Right.
Or maybe only once every so often. Easy peasy. But no one was sitting there holding an auction, right? Going, here is the holy spatula. Do I have $10, $10, $15? Come on.
No. With that said, now let's flip the script here. How many witches do you know that is going to actually cast that spell on the spatula or on the
But that's the thing. I think a lot of these people that are doing this, that are out there, with this is an enchanted item, a magical item, a blessed item. There's a problem with this because none of that has actually taken place. This is just an item that has been used by. So at that point, are we basically deifying that person?
To some extent, I think we are.
Is this like, the Buddha phenomenon, the Dalai Lama, right? It's been blessed by, or it's been used by. So we're basically saying that the mere touch of this person
bless this item,
and it has now made it powerful.
Well, I'm actually going a little bit farther than that. When you think about our actual blessing ritual, can you see me taking my freaking frying pan out there to do the actual blessing?
Good
just
gravy.
To get my frying pan to do better?
Good gravy.
I don't.
Yeah, no.
You see what I'm saying? This is not happening.
I do, because typically when we bless something, we are doing it in ritual space.
For ritual.
For ritual, yes. There are two objects sitting on your desk right now. I'm gonna give away the least that I can here, right? Because they came out of last night's ritual. They were blessed.
Yes.
But it was for a specific working. If anyone were to find those 20 years from now, and you and I are long gone, no one is going to say, oh, these are blessed. How would they know? That is, and never would anyone see that and think, oh, those are special. They're so mundane. It's hilarious.
Now there is a fear that me and Lord Merlin brought up about this behavior. All right, and the fear is that yes, someone is going to get a hold of a book of shadows or something. We have half written something down, and somebody is going to wind up with a holy chicken salad.
Yes, it happens. It's been happening. So all of the tradition heads, right? Be it Gardner, be it Crowley, be it the Frosts.
Right.
This has happened.
Yes.
There has been partial writings or something that was not Crowley, especially, good grief. Something, and still people are obsessing over it, obsessed with it, trying to decode it, trying to understand it. It might be absolutely nothing.
Because I don't know how many times I have sat down and started to write something into my book of shadows to get about halfway through and go, this isn't going exactly where I thought it was.
Yeah, or you got busy doing something else and you forgot to go back to it.
Well, I mean, it's just like the podcast. Some conversations we'll be sitting here doing, we'll be trying, and we'll look at each other going, this ain't working.
Yeah, it's like anything. It happens. And it's a strange, to me, it's a strange phenomena that we go acknowledge and accept that the children of the craft are all children of the craft. What makes one of us or a select number of us more powerful,
special? I don't. It's
very weird.
Because again, me sitting where I am, I don't feel myself as special as, and I don't mean this mean, but as sometimes I get out in public when I'm in the pagan community. Do you see what I'm saying?
Sure. But I look at it this way too. If I have something of yours, it's important to me because it's a connection that I can make back to you. But I know you.
Yeah.
We have a relationship. I cannot imagine looking at someone and saying, this is Lord Knight's Q-tip.
God, I hope not.
Right? I mean, I'm coming up with the most ridiculous thing I possibly can.
But you are right.
But then how Okay, so if this person has no connection, no knowledge of you, or the bare minimum, all right, number one, how are they going to tap into that? Number two, what are they going to do with it? What can you possibly... So back to the holy spatula. Even if you could, what are you going to achieve with it? A better omelet flip? It's a spatula. I cannot conceive, and I am a kitchen witch, and I can't think of a single thing that I would do with a spatula. Actually, I can. When my dog is being a poo in the kitchen, and I mean this, when one of the dogs is up my ass while I'm trying to cook, the spatula is usually what I shoo them with, and I kind of wave it around until they move out of the room.
Kind of like Grandma with the wooden spoon.
Yes, and that's what was funny. That was going to be my next point. I would rather have a wooden spoon
than a spatula.
Any day of the week. That spoon has seen some shit. That spoon has a story. That spoon, and I don't know. Part of it's because it's wood. Part of it is because it's a porous material, right? Part of it is because it has a more intentioned use long term than just something that flips something.
And plus, it also used to be alive at some point.
That's true too. Yes. I mean, so I don't get, and we have seen this. We've seen this time and time again where it's almost like you can do it right now. Go to eBay. Now, some of the auction sites, I think eBay was one of them at some point. They tried to put a curb to, they tried to stop some of this.
They tried to get it off of
charms and the selling of, magical objects. And
they tried to do this on eBay, but then they realized the bulk of their sales is craft people.
No, I don't think that's necessarily true. There's a lot that goes on eBay that's outside of craft for sure. But
or was that Etsy I'm thinking of?
Oh, it might be Etsy, but Etsy did it too. They put a like you can't sell
and then they reversed it.
Yeah, like there's because there are people on Etsy that will literally sell a intention.
Yes.
Pay me $10
and I'll light this candle for you.
Yes.
And that to me is going along the same what?
It's wild. It's wild. And so I'm very hesitant on a lot of these. I do think a lot of it's greedy.
Yeah.
I think it is taking advantage of people who are potentially at their lowest or at a vulnerable place.
Yes.
But to me, no one who is a member of craft, a person connected with a group, initiate or not, would never do this. Never. They would give it to you.
Yes.
Before they sold it.
Yes.
And it would be that simple. Well, what is that? Oh, well, that was some of Lord Min's, that was some of his kitchen.
Right.
Can I have one?
Sure.
Pick what you want.
One less thing I got to do something with.
Yeah, but they're not going to sell it. That's not going to be, no, absolutely not. And if they do take money for it, it's a donation that goes back to the church.
Or it's going to be a yard sale or something where it's nothing really substantial.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Exactly. But I have seen, it's unbelievable, whole lots of people's mundane lives being thrown up there like it is somehow magical in nature. And then what are people trying to do? Extract it? This is where I also go, Hollywood has done us a disservice.
Yeah.
We're not.
We're not collector's items.
Not really. No. We're not. We're also traditionalists, especially. There is a rule. I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast before. Upon our death, the temple comes in and takes everything.
Yes.
We seize it.
That's
part of why we're getting ahead of two things happening. One, the family accidentally giving something away
that they shouldn't,
or selling it. But the other is making certain that it doesn't become abused or misappropriated. Yeah.
Because as far as I know, we don't have any of these things like, and not knocking Catholics, but like we don't have the saint finger.
What do you mean?
We don't have these. I've never seen these artifacts. We don't have St. Christopher's finger or the Shroud of Turin we don't have. I've never seen these things.
That's what's ironic, right? Yeah, your relics.
We don't
have relics. No. Now that's really interesting because our relics, if we want to get technical, right? They're in museums.
Yes.
They're archaeological finds and they're in museums somewhere. Every once in a while, a story comes out of Europe. It's always the UK. It gets me so mad, right? There's always Viking horde of, blah, 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 found in your... And I'm like, damn it, I just want one coin. I
don't even want one coin. I just want to find it, look at it, and drool.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, those are cool. Those would be relics. But yes, they end up going into museums. You're right. We have nothing like that. Now, I'm sure Thelemites, they do.
Yeah.
There are possessions of Crowley's that I can just about guarantee that somebody has somewhere. They have been carefully archived and kept. And yes, the Thelemites have relics. Do you think the Gardnerians
from Gardner and
somebody's got a relic? Yeah. Yes, absolutely, somewhere. But it's not being sold. It's not being auctioned. It is being carefully kept, preserved, and ultimately it becomes part of the religious heritage, whereby I'm certain any practitioner, may I see it? Yes. Can you touch it? No. Can you look at it? Sure. Yeah. There are museums of witchcraft, for instance. I mean, we know that. They exist in a few places throughout the world. Things like that do exist there, yes. But good grief. I mean, when I go, I don't want to find out that some... tea that I was brewing to help with a period cramp is now suddenly being sold
as some
cure, for some ridiculous thing. No, stop it. Stop it. Now, that being said, within a tradition, again, yes, there are things we still have. This is very funny. And it's cute more than anything. We still have what I consider to be, whether it is or is not, I don't know, the last batch of incense Lord Min made.
Oh, God, yes.
Lord Min has been gone a while, okay? He made his own incense, and we have his Samhain blend that he made for many, many, many Samhains ago.
I think it's been over 10 years.
It's been longer than that. It's been longer than that. It's been closer to 15.
Oh, crap, it has.
He made such an abundance of this, right? He brought it to us for that night. I mean, it was almost laughable, right? It was one ritual. He brought us like a pound of incense in powdered form. I mean, it's incredible. So we have it and we use it.
We continue to use
it. And interestingly enough, I have given some of it away. I have every now and then I will meet an elder who's like, oh yes, I knew Lord Mint. Would you like some of his incense? Yeah. But it's just incense.
It's nothing.
No.
Matter of fact, I think we even have the recipe.
Probably. But it's just nice that it's a connection to him. So please don't. Just don't. We don't want to be seen that way. If anything, think of it like your grandmother's, right, spatula, if you're lucky enough to have it.
Your grandmother's wedding dress.
Whatever.
Your grandmother's wedding ring. These are things that families hold on to.
But honestly, though, some people, I mean, look, my family can cook. If I could have my grandmother's spatula, I'd be quite happy with that.
Well, but I understand that. That's your connection to your grandmother. Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. That's how we want to be viewed. But I'm not going to see it as a spiritual item or something sacred. Or hell, I wouldn't even cook with it anymore. I would just let it hang out in the kitchen.
I can't say nothing. I have measuring spoons over there that I never use.
There you go. Yep. So Yep, that's the story of the holy
Holy
spatula. Let's have some holy coffee, shall we?
Okay.
Thanks for listening. Join us next week for another episode. Pagan Coffee Talk is brought to you by Life Temple and Seminary. Please visit us at lifetempleseminary.org for more information, as well as links to our social media: Facebook, Discord, Twitter, YouTube, and Reddit.
We travel down this trodden path, a maze of stone and mire. Just hold my hand as we pass by a sea of blazing pyres. And so it is the end of our days, so walk with me till morning breaks. And so it is the end of our days, so walk with me till morning breaks.